All right, how's it going, everyone? This is Jose Trujillo. I'm an artist, I'm a painter, and this morning we're going to be creating a painting, a seascape painting. So I'm excited about going live with this. I already got my Starbucks happening. Bam! All right, so here we go. Now, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about, while I create this painting, a little bit about something that a little insight that I've had. It's about fear, right? How many of us go through this painful thing called fear? Where we get excited about something and we're like, yeah, we can do it. And then all of a sudden something happens, whatever that is. We lose traction, we lose momentum, and then we start questioning things. And then we end up sort of feeling like we have to start convincing ourselves again that we can do it. And this can be related to anything in life. You know, it's not one thing or another. For me, it has to do with artwork and of course, right? Because I'm a painter, but it could look different, to different people. So I'm going to touch on it in artwork. The whole thing about fear is very tricky and very freaky, guys. We are conditioned to think that somehow we're not good enough. And I don't mean to disrespect anybody. I don't mean to call anyone out or anything. I just, based on what I've learned, based on what I've read, on my personal life, of course, more than anything, most humans are conditioned to believe that we lack something. We're not, it's, many people call it just self-esteem or this or that, some people refer to it in a different way, but it never, nevertheless, it's the same thing. It's sort of a disbelief that you are good, that all you have to do is believe. And now I don't mean believe as in sit there and believe. I mean as believe while you're working, but continue to believe, because if you don't continue to believe, you will stop working. It's going to sip in. So many of us believe, oh man, I could never paint like that, or I could never do that, or I could never, it's going to take me such a long time to learn this, or I could never talk to that gallery owner and book a show, or all sorts of things that we condition ourselves to believe, And it's so sad. To me, I feel like it's so sad because it's something that I know personally, it haunts me here and there, right? I have to fight it. I have to fight the fight every day. But I know some other artists that it's more pronounced, and where they can't even take a step forward, much less say I'm gonna make this huge. And I just wanted to talk about it because I feel like it's something that doesn't get very talked about. It gets talked about, but in other settings, like other professional settings, like if you're a salesman or you're a realtor, you're some Tony Robbins type of stuff, right? Which is totally cool. But in artwork, I believe that it doesn't really get touched that much, and I think that one of the reasons it doesn't get touched that much is because we all just kind of. It tends to be a very singular approach with art. You either have talent or you don't. That's what we tend to say things like that. Or we tend to say things like, you just keep getting better, and we're hoping that one day we're going to get better. We're kind of just waiting for that better time. Or people don't want to buy my artwork. Well, one day someone will discover you. That kind of stuff. And we forget that although things factor in, what really is the problem is not that. What really is the problem in whether you're creating artwork or you're trying to sell it or you're trying to share it or whatever you're doing, Some people don't want to sell. Some people don't want to share it. It's for themselves, but they do want to create it. And there's a disbelief there that they can, or there's a sort of a negativity approach where it's like, yeah, I'm a painter, but I'm not really good, and then they just kind of don't talk about it, and that kind of stuff. God forbid they did a video like this, right? Because they don't want to expose themselves to criticism or whatever. But I believe that the keys. Let me put it this way: the keys to the kingdom is belief. It's faith. And I'm not talking about it in a spiritual way, although you can take it that way. I'm not talking about it in a religious or esoteric or anything like that. You can take it that way, though. I'm sure it applies. I think that deep truths apply anywhere you put them. They're just like flowers, they're like plants. They'll grow. A good plant, but this belief, faith, when we don't have faith, we tend to paralyze. And the reason we paralyze is because we overthink everything. And I was just listening to this guy talk about that. I mean, I'm always listening to stuff like this, but especially when I feel like, oh man, what's going on with me? What sort of rut, to put it that way. Why do I feel this way? That I'm not sufficient. Why do I always fight with this? Oh, it's because every day we have to make it a point. Just like we cleanse ourselves, just like we take showers, just like we eat healthy, or whatever we need to do to take care of our bodies. We too need to take care of our beliefs and our faith. And if you're an artist who believes that one day, that you're good, but the next day you're like, I don't know, it's like taking, one step forward, 2 steps back. And that wears you out, eventually starts wearing you out. And it has nothing to do, I wanted to share this because I go through this, It has nothing to do with you or your artwork. The fear starts seeping in. It starts thinking that it's your artwork. It's the way you approach life. It's the way that you approach life. I mean, like the way you paint or your vision as an artist. And we start creating all of this nonsense, ideas that come about as a result of fear. And we start thinking, oh man, it's because I should have taken that painting class, so I wouldn't be feeling this way. Or I should have, I don't know, taken art more serious when I was in college, or this or that. Now I'm like, it's so hard now. I'm here to tell you something, and it's a reminder. It's perfectly fine where you are. You don't need to know more. If you know more, that's good, but that is not what's holding you back. In most cases, and when I say most, I'm not trying to say for you to maybe start thinking, well, mine's special. No, what I'm trying to say is 99.9, and you're not that 1%. I don't think so. If you're watching this, I don't think so. We tend to overthink everything. And we believe that we're not good enough, that something has to save us. Either it's an art agent, the mythical unicorn. I call it the mythical unicorn, art agent, or the perfect art collector, or the perfect, when I open my art studio, my art gallery, and it's always something else, something beyond us. I don't know if you're aware of that, but it's always something else. And when you make it about something else saving you, you don't know that, but you are already in a place of disbelief. Now, it doesn't mean that you don't want something else in order to make things better, or you should strive. If you're already, moving in your artwork, and you're like, you know what, I may need a bigger studio. Well, that's fine, but you don't need a bigger studio in order to start creating artwork. That's what I'm trying to say. Or in order to continue creating artwork, you don't need a bigger studio. And most of us psych ourselves out to believe, stuff like that. Sadly, we start believing things like that, where, and it's not all the time. It kind of just sips in, and we start drinking from that nasty juice, right, of this belief. And I just wanted to share with you, it's not you. It really is not you. It's not you. It's not that you lack. Many artists out there that teach stuff. This is one of the reasons why I was hesitant about going and creating, artwork and sharing the process or whatnot. Was because I was like, oh, there's a lot of people out there teaching already. But what I noticed is that many are teaching in a very strange way. It's almost like you have to arrive somewhere in order to create artwork. And that for me becomes it's a very negative way of looking at it. You do not have to arrive anywhere. You don't have to get the shades right and then, okay, now you created a successful piece of art. For me, that's bullshit. And pardon my French, but people shouldn't be teaching this kind of crap. It doesn't help anybody because life is already difficult. And it doesn't mean that you don't want to study more and create and learn and expand. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is you don't have to arrive somewhere in order to start enjoying it and even perhaps start selling it. You don't have to paint like me, nor I have to paint like, I don't know, some other artists. It doesn't have to happen that way. But we tend to think that that's what it is, We tend to think that that's what it is because we're trying to make sense of it. And that's what this belief does, Faith, I really believe, all the great, sages and if you're a Christian, you believe in Jesus, it's always has to do about faith, It always has to do about faith. There's something about faith that we humans need to be reminded of, because something happens to us when we are going after an endeavor. We either get excited and then we realize that it may not be as easy. So we kind of drop things, or we don't get excited at all, or we get excited for a little bit. Most likely, most of us get excited for a little bit. And then things don't look the way we want them to, right? Automatically, things are like, well, it's going to take a little bit of time. You're really just planting seeds. That's really what you're doing in anything you do. Whether you're an artist or you're in sales or whatever you do, you're really just planting seeds. That's awesome, Chicagoland. Hi, Kim. Thank you for watching. So you're really just planting seeds because everything that you do is going to take some sort of time. We are in this frame of the horizontal, right, axis of life, which takes time. It's process. You have to get from A to B. It's a very process way. But there's also this other axis of life, which is I'm going to get into some artsy stuff here, but it's the eternal aspect of it, and that's the here and now axis. Right? You have a horizontal. I hope I don't go off topic here, but you have the horizontal axis where you have time frames and you have things. You have to get from here to here in order to get better at artwork and blah 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 blah. This never ends. We die before this ends. But this, right? This right here. This is, or to put it another way, I'm sorry. This ends, but because they're time frames, right? You're born, you die, whatever, and they're time frames, things we do. But this right here, this is what never dies, right? Which is the vertical aspect of life. And this right here we don't recognize it. So as we're going, we're like, oh man, how am I going to get from point A to point D, right, or whatever? And we lose faith because we're not constantly looking at the vertical aspect of life. And I don't mean to confuse anybody. I'm not trying to sound extremely esoteric here, but oh, that's awesome! Hi, Didi. I hope you're enjoying your vacation. So, but what I'm trying to say is that oh, you guys didn't even see my little graph that I did. So let me show it again. So this is life, right? This is the horizontal aspect of life. This is where things get accomplished. Things born, things die, right? Things are born, things die. We finish things here. But this, nothing is ever born and nothing ever dies. This is the vertical aspect of life. And this right here is what we must not forget. This is what creates faith. Because when you're here, and you want to become a great portrait painter, right? You may lose very quickly your faith because you're not looking at the here and now. The here and now is constantly moved. We forget about this one. Anyways, I don't want to sound too esoteric, but what I'm trying to say is, look, it's faith. We need to have faith. It doesn't matter what your doodles look like. It does not matter. They are as perfect as they need to be right now in order for you to continue moving forward. Don't buy that whole idea that you have to become this, academic artist in order to start. When you become an academic artist and highly proficient in the, arts of shading and this and that, your time might be running out. You may lose steam on what you want to do. So I'll leave you with that. My name is Jose Trujillo. I'm not saying don't strive for better, okay? You can always strive, but don't forget, it's always good no matter where you're standing. My name is Jose Trujillo. I'm an artist. Thank you so much for watching. Take care, and have a wonderful day. Bye bye, Didi. I hope you're enjoying your vacation. I need a vacation too. Take care. Bye bye.